Battle of 224, Poland Bulldogs, travel down the street, Canfield Cardinals. Woo! It was lit.
It was a great atmosphere up in there.
It was the battle of 224 carries.
Battle of 224 running attempts for sure.
That's called Northeast Ohio football.
Indeed.
That's what that's called. I know, it's 2024, so you watch a lot of college games and pro games and everybody throwing it around 50, 60 games.
That's how that game normally is. Even when
that's Northeast Ohio football.
Canfield had Brock Lowry when I was here. Anytime they play each other, it's run the ball. It's just that's just how this particular rivalry game usually is.
But it wasn't void of excitement. No, Coach, what's some of the things that you seen Friday night in Canfield?
It was a Northeast Ohio football game. Two good defenses. First of all, let's start up top. Two great head coaches with two good staffs. So both teams were well prepared. Two teams with a lot of tradition that expect to win every week, especially when they're playing in the Battle of 224. That's the last game they want to lose. But when you look at the game itself, it was a defensive slugfest. You know what I mean? So I guess it depends on who you are. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people left that game. Probably a lot of old school people left that game. That's the type of football they want to see. Physical, a lot of hard hitting. Coaches got to make different adjustments. It was like a chess match almost. But at the end of the game, it kind of came down to Enzo Coca and Angelo DeLucia. And why I say that is we want to see more passing, of course, but when you look at the skills on both sides and you look at the playmakers on both sides, their better players are probably running backs and the guys that's up front. So they're going to lean on the run game. Both teams are going to lean on the run game more. When it come down to it, Enzo Coca made plays, 2 touchdown runs, and Angelo DeLucia dominated the line of scrimmage, especially from a defensive standpoint. Anytime they tried to run to his side, they could not. It almost got to a point where they had to run to the other side. And as a defensive coordinator, now I know I can slant, I can move, I can send all my strength opposite of him because they can't run his way at all. So the game pretty much came down to an old school defensive slugfest. It was a lot of excitement at the end, onside kicks, fumbles, interceptions. But all in all, the number one takeaway from me was the atmosphere. It was packed up in there. Kids running around playing football with the game going on. It had to be about 200-300 people just standing up on the hill in front of the concession stand watching the game. So it was beautiful. It was a beautiful night to be in Northeast Ohio and watch football. Shout out to the athletic director, Mr. Beam. Great hospitality. Took care of us at halftime. And it was a great game, great atmosphere to be in. And the Canfield came out with it. Poland got them last year. So I know Canfield wanted to come back this year and get the win. We talked about it last week. Poland was 3-0, but I felt like Canfield's schedule was a lot tougher in the first 3 weeks. Canfield had 2 losses, but they lost to West Branch and Olmsted Falls, which are 2 great programs in Northeast Ohio. And you could kind of tell that as the game going on to where Poland had a lot of like hiccups, penalties. They just looked it off for the first 2.5 quarters. The last quarter and a half, they kind of picked it up and they came with some energy. They made a nice effort at the end to almost come back, but it's a great atmosphere, great game. I'm glad we picked it as our game of the week.
Indeed.
And it was great to be in the house.
Don C, what did you back in it? This is a game where, you know what I'm saying, you doing your sports reporting in this area that you're familiar with. You're familiar with both of the schools and the area. What did you see coming back to the area, the environment? How did you feel being in the house, brother?
I mean, it's a great environment. I mean, Poland and Canfield, I mean, if we were to rank the best rivalries, Youngstown area rivalries specifically, that would be up there. They would be up there with Ursuline and Mooney. It would be up there with Niles and Howland. It would be up there with Harding and Maslin that we have here. But I was really happy for Joe Ignazio. I want to shout out to him because when I was at the Tribune in college, I did Boardman's preview during the season before COVID. I did Boardman's preview when Joe Ignazio was there, and he's a great coach. And when Coach Pavlansky retired, I was really happy to hear that he got the job at Canfield. And we saw Coach Pavlansky on the sidelines. He looked like he was still on the sidelines. He was locked in.
He was into it.
He was fired up.
Because again, his brother is the coach of Poland. So you add that to it. It makes the rivalry more fun. But Canfield looked very good. They looked like a team that wasn't going to lose this game. I mean, I did research on Canfield coming into this game. They got waxed by West Branch in week 1. But it's like you said, Coach, West Branch is a great team. They had an emotional OT win against Mansfield Senior, a team from Central Ohio that they played a lot over the last 2 years. Olmsted Falls is another great team in the region, and they just got waxed. And when you get waxed and then you enter rivalry week, you just have a clear slate. And I feel like that's what Joe Ignazio told his team this week. Like, I want you to forget everything that happened these last 3 weeks. We're going to start from scratch, and we're going to win this game by any means necessary. Because Poland came into this game unbeaten. They were the flavor. They seemed like they were the flavor of the week. They beat Salem. They destroyed Howland. They beat Firelands, a team I really have not heard of, to tell you the truth. But they came into this game with all the momentum, and Canfield didn't. But you could tell Canfield was at home. They were inspired. They wanted to win this game very badly. They have a number of players that are going to be going on to Division I schools. And they played really well at the end. And like you said, it was one of those games where, it was just old school football, if you want to call it that. I mean, just a lot of running, a lot of defense. But then in the fourth quarter, just craziness happened. I mean, Canfield scored a touchdown. Poland was able to engineer a drive in response to that, get up the field and score. They get the onside kick right after that. They weren't able to capitalize. But then after that, they get a fumble recovery. So they get a second opportunity to tie the game. And unfortunate to them, they could not do it. But Poland, I think, will be a solid team. I mean, if they could just figure out how to win games late, which I think Coach Pavlansky, as experienced as he is, will figure out how to do that with them. Someone who's been, who's taken teams to deep playoff runs many times. So bottom line, Poland, Canfield, it's just one of those games where you're just interested in what happens. And I was grateful that you guys let me be on the sidelines shooting the game. I'm coming off 2 weeks doing that in North Central West Virginia. I was glad to be coming back and doing it here for such a great game. And yeah, that's my take on it.
Battle of 224.
Indeed. Coach gonna get into the players of the game, but y'all absolutely right. The physicality of that game. We talked about how great Enzo Coca played.
Yeah.
You could tell the physicality. He still put the ball on the carpet a few times, but in a game like a rivalry game, Poland, Canfield, your players are gonna play that motivation gonna come from a whole different place. Like you were saying, you just can't look on the schedule and say who should do what.
Right.
This and the third. Those men was out there, stopping things in their tracks. So shout out to both teams, putting on a great contest, competing at the highest level.
Yes.
Giving us a thriller all the way to the end.
Beautiful atmosphere.
Shout out to Canfield student section. They was on fire.
They was lit for sure.
They was keeping it.
Those are always the go-to opening shots. When you're shooting high school football for any news shows, high school football game that night, the best opening shots are going to the student section, just getting that 4-second clip, and then you go into the highlights. That's always
if the student section is lit like Canfield student section was this Friday, because they was turned up. We done been to some games where the student section is super enthusiastic. We done been to some games where the student section is not. So we we can always appreciate when you get the whole community, especially the student section, keep the game live, keep everybody fired up.
It was a beautiful atmosphere.
Beautiful atmosphere. Sure. So so that's our ELLIE House game of the week. But Coach, tell us about our players, ELLIE House players of the game.
I mean, I talked about him a little bit when I was breaking down the game. Senior quarterback safety Enzo Coca had 2 touchdown runs, forced a fumble. You could tell he kind of that leader, that emotional leader for him. When the game got on the line, he kind of just made plays with his feet. You could tell he also that guy because the coaches put the ball in his hand. So small guy, not very big at all, but he a tough kid, very smart, got moxie. He a hell of a football player. And then Angelo DeLucia, he just dominated up front. He had a big catch early in the game down the middle on the 3rd down. Showed some soft hands that I haven't seen from him in the past. But that dude is dominant. If you get a chance to see the film from last week, from Friday, go watch that kid block and go watch him get off blocks on defense. That kid got strong hands, and he played the game the right way. So them 2 was our player of the games. Shout out Enzo Coca. Shout out Angelo DeLucia. stay tuned here at Between the Lines with Coach Stella. We have some video for you here soon.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And then those are the boys that kind of led them to victory, man. And shout out to them two as leaders. You know what I mean? When we did the interview, as you will see, they wanted to make sure they had some special company with them. So shout out to them boys, man. They was kind of the leaders of the team and drug their team across the finish line to get the dub.
All right, so shout out to Canfield and Poland. Battle of 224 is our ELLIE House game of the week. Canfield pulled it out in a thriller. So yes, thanks once again. Thanks for the athletic department. The hospitality was great. The crowd was great. And like I said, we did how they say we did good.
We did good.
We did good,
and can't wait to get back there.
Can't wait to get back. So
what's the game of the week this week?
Stay tuned.
What's good, baby? We're here at the ELLIE House game of the week. You see around me, I got the big dogs. I got two players of the game. We got Enzo Coca, Angelo DeLucia. They got their fellas with us. We're going to start with you first, Enzo. Talk about your guys. You wanted them to have you here. You wanted them behind you for the interview. Talk about how much they mean to you.
Yeah, they mean everything to me, man. I love playing with these guys. You know, they work hard. We all work hard in practice and in the off season, and I just trust these guys, and I love them so much, and I couldn't have a better line.
I love it. Angelo, I got a question for you. Looked like tonight you guys in the game plan had a lot of switching with the dual tight ends. Talk about your partner in crime, Landon Sheena. What do we mean to you, and what do we bring to this team, baby?
I mean, you know, he's a great kid. You know, coming from last year, he got good time. I knew this year he was going to just explode. He's a great player, great friend. You know, lucky to have him.
One more question, Enzo. Yeah. You was in on the tackle that helped force the fumble. Talk about your defense tonight. Had a goal line stand that forced the field goal. Had a big interception by your buddy, your teammate, safety back there doing a great job. Talk about the defensive performance tonight.
Yeah, our defense is great. You know, we have a great defensive coordinator, Coach Hurdley. You know, he puts his heart and soul into film and everything like that. Give us the best opportunity we can to win the game. And, you know, we had a rough game last week. We just all said it's polling week, you know. This is the week we've been waiting for, and we just got after it.
He talked about it, polling week, battle of 224. Just tell me what it means to get that win after a tough loss last year. You come back this year and get the win. Tell me what it means.
It means everything. I mean, we're getting texts, calls. People are coming up to us from any grade, any age saying, you better win this game. Our word all week was war, win against rival, and I think we really just stuck to that, and then obviously got away with the dub.
Before we get out of here, we always give shout-outs. Big dog, give anybody you want to shout out, coaches, parents, anybody, give them a shout out.
I want to shout out the entire community, every single coach, every player. I mean, it's an entire community effort. They make these games feel alive. And then every single player on our team, they grind every single day, work hard. You know, and I'm just thankful for all of them.
I love it. Same thing with you, Enzo. Shout somebody out, baby.
Yeah, I couldn't agree any more with that. You know, the community, our Canfield community is great. You know, I love Canfield. You saw the stands. There's so many people supporting us, and just knowing that we have that support, you just love it.
We out of here, baby. The battle of 224. You see the chemistry. The guy right here said I need to have my big guys behind me. Shout out to the coaching staff. Shout out to the community. Great atmosphere, good win. Follow us on Interviews TV, Between the Lines with Coach Stella, baby. You know how we do it. Hey! We're here, baby, at the ELLIE House game of the week. We got Coach. Coach, it's your first year here coaching in the battle of 224. Just talk to me about what it means you to get this victory.
Yeah, extremely proud of our kids. They battled for 48 minutes all the way up there to the end, and defense played tremendous. And we've told our kids for the last couple of weeks, we played an extremely tough schedule in playing West Branch and Olmsted Falls, two really good teams that you're going to see in the playoffs and, you know, aren't going to lose too many times this year. But with the young football team that we have, we kept telling them, you know, show up each and every day, keep working harder, get better, and things are going to start falling our way, and they've done that, and I couldn't be prouder of them.
Coach, I talked about that on my show, exactly what you just said. You guys, in the first 3 weeks, you play Olmsted Falls, you play West Branch. Some people may look at your record and see 1 and 2. I look at your record and see a team that's playing top-notch programs, getting ready to try to play their best ball going into the playoffs. Talk about your young team and what does a game like tonight means for your young kids moving forward.
Yeah, it just continues to build confidence for them. You know, we're giving Enzo more and more responsibility in terms of controlling the offense. And our lines coming together. We were a little injured coming out of summer for quite some time, and we're finally starting to get healthy. And, you know, those guys show up every day with a willingness ready to work. And, again, I'm extremely proud of them. Tough kids, and, you know, in all 3 phases tonight. The only thing that stuck in my craw was the onside kick. And we'll get back at it and watch film and get that taken care of.
Coach, one more question. Just talk about the defense. Battle of 224. You only give up 10 points. Have a goal line stand earlier in the game that forces them to a field goal. You had the interception, had a forced fumble that it was kind of a questionable call over there on the sideline, but your defense played lights out for the most part. Talk about your defense and the type of game they played tonight.
Yeah, our guys know we pride ourselves in two things: being physical in the run game and playing smash mouth football on defense. And Coach Hurdley is our defensive coordinator, and he's been known around the Valley for years. Tremendous player at Fitch, and just got in their Hall of Fame. And there's no one else that I'd want to go to battle with other than him. And our kids know that, and he holds them to a higher standard, and they know that they better get after it or they won't be playing on that side of the ball. And they respond. He gets them to respond. So that's hats off to hit that side of the ball, his staff. You know, they're tremendous.
Well, Coach, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on your first win in the Battle of 224. Good luck moving forward in your first year as a coach. Thank you for the hospitality.
Thank you,
and good luck to you for the rest of the year, Coach. Thank you, baby.
Yep.
Mario Manningham, stay locked in between the lines and Coach Stella.